Yo guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be showing you 3 ways to make money in the No Man's Sky early game to help you progress to the mid and then the late game. So yeah, let's get into it. So I feel like I say this pretty much every video, but the first thing that you're going to need to do is head over to the cartographer, and you're going to need to purchase, go to exchange specific charts, and then from there you want to purchase some emergency cartography data. This will cost navigational data, so if you don't know how to get that, click the video on the top right and that will show you how to get that. But if you already know how to get that, or you already have some on you, purchase some and then go ahead and scan for an abandoned building. Okay, so once you get to the abandoned building, you're going to see some whispering egg type things, these purple egg things here, and what you want to do is you want to shoot about 2 of them and then pick up these larval core things that come out, and then after that you want to jump straight on top of the building, because as soon as you harvest like 1 egg, literally there's going to be like 4 alien things that pop out of the ground. They're like xenomorph type things. They're gonna destroy you if you stay on the ground and just keep harvesting the eggs, because it's very easy to die here if you don't hop on top of the building. And I guess I'll show the clip of me literally getting destroyed in about a second. Yeah, so as I said, it is very easy to die here if you're not paying attention, but as long as you just keep getting back on top of the roof and you're paying attention to how many aliens there are kind of around you or around the spot that you want to go to, you should be alright. Maybe if you're playing on survival and you can't reclaim your all your stuff when you die, then maybe I wouldn't recommend this strat, and I'd recommend waiting to the next 2. Okay, so for this abandoned building, I got about 14 larval cores, which sells for about 1 million units. Sometimes you can get a bit more, sometimes you get a bit less, depending on how many of them you can actually get to, and assuming obviously you can pick them all up and they don't despawn. But yeah, that's about the average amount of units you'll make per abandoned building, and obviously you can do as many abandoned buildings as you want to. Okay, so for this next section we're going to be finding things called storm crystals, and then we're going to be selling them on to make loads of money. Okay, so what you need to do to find storm crystals is you need to find a planet with an activated material. In this case, this planet has activated copper, but it doesn't really matter what material it is, it just has to be an activated material. If it doesn't say here that there's an activated material on the planet after you've scanned it, then it means you can't find any activated or any storm crystals on that planet. And if none of the planets have this, then you're best off just warping to another system and checking for activated materials on all those planets. It's not that difficult to find. Okay, so once you've found a planet with an activated material on it, you need to wait for a storm. In this case, the storm was already underway, so yeah, there was tons of storm crystals around, because storm crystals only spawn in storms, and this is what the storm crystals look like. They're these big glowing crystals, and you just pick them up and you can sell them for quite a bit, 258,000 units for just 2. And if you use your analysis visor and just scan around or look around, you'll see these kind of yellowish kind of lightning bolt icons, and those indicate kind of storm crystal clusters. So you need to just jetpack over to as many of them that you can to collect as many as you can before the storm ends. Okay, one more thing that I think is good to mention is that you should probably bring a reasonable stack of sodium as well as some good hazard protection upgrades. If not, you just use sodium and just run off inside of caves or go back into your ship every minute or so. But yeah, if you don't have a lot of sodium or some good hazard protection upgrades, then you might struggle a bit. At this point I had to summon my ship and then fly to another planet because the storm stopped and all the crystals kind of sealed up. So I flew over to another planet that also I think had activated copper. Normally when you find one planet with activated copper, there's normally some other planets with activated materials on them as well in the same system. So that's what I did, and also luckily I had better hazard protection for the cold compared to toxic environments and stuff. So this planet was also quite a lot easier to get the crystals as well. Okay, so here I am going in to turn in my 17 storm crystals, and again, just like the larval cores, you can spend as long as you want farming these crystals. There I got about 2 million units, but I worked out that if you farm to get about 100 of them, which really doesn't take that long considering I got about 17 in probably about 10 minutes. If you were to farm 100 of them, that would net you about 12.9ish million units. And as I said before, normally if you find one planet with an activated material, there's probably going to be other planets in that same system with activated materials on them as well. So if you're farming for crystals and then suddenly the storm stops, you can normally bet on just going to another planet and a storm will be happening there, and then when that storm stops you just come back and then kind of just keep repeating the process until you've got as many crystals as you want. Okay, so congratulations, you've made it to the final method, and not really the most complicated, but kind of. So you'll see why. But first of all, we have to purchase some chlorine and some oxygen. Those are the two things that we're going to need to stock up on. So maybe it would be a good idea to have done one of the other two methods before this. So in case you can't afford all this oxygen and chlorine that we're going to stock up on. So mainly what we're going to be needing is just at least maybe a stack of about 10k oxygen and at least one bit of chlorine. All you need is just one bit of chlorine. I purchased just over 2,000 just to kind of make the process quicker, but you're going to need to make sure that you have at least maybe a couple 100,000 units already in the bank to be able to afford this, so that we can actually start the process of chlorine duplication. So in order to kind of stock up, I would recommend just sitting in the space station and getting some oxygen, or buying out the whole stock of oxygen from the actual space station itself, and then from every single pilot that flies in for the next 2 minutes, and just buy out all their oxygen. And then as far as getting your one piece of chlorine, all you need to do is just wait there for a while. Sometimes you can struggle to find chlorine, so maybe in that case you should go to a planet with water in it and then swim in kind of the oceans and scan around and look for anything with salt in it. once you find something with salt in it, you can refine the salt into chlorine and then get your first bit of chlorine that way. Now if you've got the oxygen, you've got the chlorine, and you've got the money to get possibly more oxygen if you need to, then the last thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to make sure that you've progressed far enough into the story where you've unlocked the space anomaly. It's not that far into this main story to the point where I would still kind of class that as like part of the beginner stage of the story, so make sure that you have progressed that far into the game, and if you have, make sure that you've got the blueprint unlocked for the medium refiner. Otherwise this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work with the portable refiner because you need 2 slots to refine, and I'll show you why in a second once we start refining. Okay, first things first, we're going to be needing to place down a base computer because technically we are making a base, and then next just interact with it and then claim the base, and then just give it a name like Chlorine Duplication base or something. I didn't do it here, I forgot to do it here, but yeah, just give it a good name so you can always kind of use the teleporter in the space stations or teleport there from another base whenever you want to do this type of thing. Alright, next you want to go over to Advanced Technology tab and then find the medium refiner blueprint that you just got or already had, and you just want to, assuming you've got everything you need to make it, place it down, and now boom, that is all of the kind of complicated side of it done, and now it's just the easy part, which is just letting the machine run and just duplicating your chlorine and just letting it make your money. Okay, so as you can see here, I've put in my chlorine on one side and it's going to output some salt, 2 salt for every 1 bit of chlorine, which is not what I want to do because then I'm losing money. So when I combine it with oxygen, it changes to 6 chlorine, or for every 1 bit of chlorine turns to 6 more chlorine, and then I lose 2 oxygen for every new 6 bits of chlorine that I make. So as long as you have a lot of oxygen and as long as you stocked up on it, which isn't too expensive to do providing you kind of have a couple 100k in the bank, then yeah, this is pretty cheap to do and you just make a lot of profits. And then all you need to do is just kind of sit here on your phone or whatever, and just as soon as all of your chlorine that's in the input section has been completely finished and it's all gone to the output section, then you just rotate it over back into the input section and then just keep on repeating, and then every so often you just add some more oxygen so it doesn't run out of fuel. Well, not fuel, but so it doesn't stop expanding, and otherwise it would turn into salt, which is not what you want. But yeah, this is pretty much the whole method. You can see the value going up there quite quickly, and yeah, I guess I'll just cut to the time lapse and I'll see you when we're ready to sell. So yeah, that about does it for the final method and kind of this video as well. So if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more. Obviously there's now been quite a lot of new people to the channel now, so make sure to subscribe because now there's only 0.2% of you guys that watch my videos that are actually subscribed. So if you watch my videos, or if you like this video, then consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.